Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Bea Diaz-Fabros.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Dip Dipianco. In tonight's game plan, we'll discuss the UAAP Season 84 Women's Volleyball Tournament Individual Awardees with Maddie Madayag.
Then, Chris Newsome joins us to talk about the Meralco Bolts this season and Coach Norman Black's evolution through the years. And we'll officially wrap up the 2022 NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Warriors. Is Jayson Tatum a major disappointment for Boston? Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. The UAAP Season 84 has dished out its latest set of individual awardees for women's volleyball. With the NU Lady Bulldogs winning 7 out of 9 of the individual awards, there's a new set of standouts taking over the league. Now, joining us to discuss them and how the game has changed in the UAAP is the record holder for most kill blocks in a single game and Season 84 analyst Maddie Madayag. Maddie, good evening and welcome to the game.
Hi, Maddie.
Good evening, Bea and Dip. It's good to be back here to the game.
I know now, Maddie, I know that the finals game 2 is now ongoing, but earlier this afternoon we had the UAAP individual awards and it was really bagged by almost a lot of NU players, 5 at that. We had 1 Ateneo player and 1 LaSalle player. We want to get your thoughts on the different individual awardees. Now let's start things off with the best setter this season 84, Camille Lamina. From the NU Lady Bulldogs, only at her first rookie year. What can you say about this girl?
Well, Camila Lamina, she has been stellar this season, making sure that 3 to 4 spikers end up in double digits at the end of every game. Which goes to show that no matter who she gives the ball to, siguradong makakapuntos at makakapuntos sila.
Now, Maddie, puntahan natin yung mga kaposition mo, the middle blockers. Let's talk about Thea Gagate, who's also part of the NU High School program back then, and yung kasama niya na middle blocker na si Sheena Turing.
Well, Thea Gagate is the first best middle blocker, no? And she ends the elimination round with 110 spikes and 30 kill blocks. And she has been nothing but towering this season. And she's a real definition of height is might. Iba na talaga pag matangkad.
Oo, totoo yan.
On the other hand, what? Sorry?
That's right. Go ahead, Maddie.
Okay, si Sheena Turing naman, on the other hand, she got the second best middle blocker with 22 kill blocks and 72 spikes. And you know, throughout the season, I've watched this girl play and I admire how calm and collected she is inside the court, even if they're down by a lot or whether they're up. So, ayun.
Now let's move on, Maddie, to another NU Lady Bulldog who actually bagged the best opposite spiker, and she's also a rookie at that, Alyssa Solomon. What can you say about her?
I think lahat ng NU na nakakuha ng award, no, pwede na silang maging Rookie of the Year. Grabe yung performance nila. But anyway, statistically, Alyssa Solomon leads the best spiker with a success rate of 38.98%, and it goes to show the efficiency she has as a player. Because even if she doesn't get as much touches as their open hitters, her attacking rate is very high. So kahit na hindi siya masyado nabibigyan ng madalas ni Lamina, no, palaging puntos pa rin yung nagagawa niya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to the outside hitters. Ito yung mga matunog yung pangalan. Bella Belen and Faith Nisperos, who was also here in the game last night.
Well, Bella Belen, wala na akong sasabi sa kanya, but you know, she finishes third in the best scoring ranking with 178 spikes, 8 blocks, and 22 service aces. Grabe. And I keep mentioning this when I cover their games, no, na whether she's in the front line, back line, or even at the service line, she really poses as a threat.
Mm-hmm. And para naman kay Faith, yeah? Sorry?
Yeah,
go ahead for Faith Nisperos.
Si Faith Nisperos naman, well, she has been Ateneo's go-to and she has embraced her role. And evident naman sa performance na pinakita niya this season. she ends the season with as the #2 best scorer, #2 best server, and #5 best spiker of the season. This is a well-deserved award for her. And medyo bias lang ha, pero I'm so proud of her performance this season.
Well, kahit walang bias naman, Maddie, nakaka-proud naman talaga ang pinanghitin ni Faith Nesperos this season 84. But last but not the least, the best libero. Now, she is already one of the veterans, as you may say, here for the NU Lady Bulldogs. What can you say about Jen Yerva?
Well, I played against her last season, 81, no? Pero I'm not surprised she was able to bag the best libero. Sa rank, she is the #2 best digger and the #1 best receiver. And the way she moves and how she leads the team in terms of reception and defense is just really commanding.
Okay, we talked about all the awardees. Let's single out one person. You know, Maddie, being Rookie of the Year and MVP for the same player, bihira ito mangyari. I believe the last time and only time it was recorded was Mark Espejo in the men's division. But now, sa women's division, kasama na ngayon sa listahan si Bella Belen. And what are your thoughts on this rising superstar for the NU Lady Bulldogs?
Well, you know, I always say that we can't have it all, but looks like this girl does. Some people even call her Miss Everything. And honestly, I won't argue with that. Yeah. I won't argue with that because look at her efficiency, no? If you check the stats, she's the #6 best receiver, #8 best digger, #1 best server, #2 best spiker, and #3 best scorer. So she's really an all-around player and a really talented one at that, no? And to think she's only a rookie. Grabe talaga. I'm sure she will go to places, no? Sa ibang bansa, like sila Ate Din, sila Jaja, Mark Espejo, Brian Bagunas, and the like.
Well, you know, really, sky is the limit with the talent of this young Bella Belen. But let's try to talk about the NU Lady Bulldogs. 9 of their players actually come from their juniors program. They've entered the finals after 65 years. They are undefeated this season 84. What can you say about the NU program that they have built on?
Well, bilib na bilib ako sa program nila. Look at Faith Nesperos and Madayag, Roma Doramal, even though they're not with NU. Ang gaganda ng mga performance nila this season. And NU definitely set a standard for high school programs. But, you know, it's always better to start them young. And I'm sure that other schools would want to improve their programs as well. Pero it will be for sure beneficial for the whole volleyball program in the Philippines. Not just in their respective schools, kasi, you know, we all want our players to get the best opportunities. Para naman mas tumaas pa ang level ng competition dito sa Philippines.
Well, definitely, you know, Maddie, this young breed of talents will be the next phase of Philippine women's volleyball. So very excited for that. And thank you for your time also for sharing your thoughts about the individual awardees this UAAP Season 84, Maddie.
Thank you so much for having me once again.
Now, after the break, Chris Newsome joins us to talk about the Meralco Bolts this season and Coach Norman Black's evolution through the years. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. The Meralco Bolts are sparked up to get back on top in the PBA 47 season. And in light of the world's recent Father's Day celebration, joining us tonight to talk about his head coach and the rest of their squad is Chris Newsome. Chris, good evening and welcome to the game.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, thank you for having me, guys.
Good to have you here, Chris. Now, it's the start of the Philippine Cup so far. Meralco at 2-1. What are your thoughts so far about your team to really hunt for the championship this season?
I would say we're hungrier now more than ever.
Oh, okay.
We just came out of a finals loss against Ginebra again, but the great thing about our team is we're resilient and we're always looking to improve year after year. Of course, we've been to the finals and now we actually want to bring Meralco their first championship. So that's our goal and I think everyone's on board. So 2-1, not a bad start. But,
very early in the season.
Yeah,
as well.
very early. And I think our next game, we're going to be more focused and adjust what went wrong last game and try to get back on track with winning.
We're looking forward to seeing those adjustments, Chris. And my favorite Chris, by the way.
Yeah.
And let's move forward to Coach Norman Black. You've been with him for a long time now, 7 years to be exact. You guys didn't reach each other in Ateneo, but how has he evolved here in the PBA?
Coach Norman, he's an amazing guy, both on and off the court. He's taught me so many things, and I'm so lucky to have him as a mentor for me because he's taught me so many things and he's helped me mature as well into my own game and he's brought me on somewhat as a son himself. So having Coach Norman there, I've seen a lot of change in him throughout the years, adjusting game plans and learning how to use players. But the one thing that I've really learned from Coach Norman is just the maturity of the game, how to look at the game in a whole perspective and how to get your teammates involved because it's not just about one player, but it's about how can you all work together as a team in order for you to get that common goal. And of course, Coach Norman, he's a stats guy, so he's the one that kind of helped me to look deeper into the stats of the game and how the stats can actually tell the tale of the game and how you can use those stats to help you win ball games. And that's one thing I admire the most about Coach Norman.
I really see how he's really been like a father to you. And because it's Father's Day, from father, let's go to his son, Aaron Black now. He's your teammate, but he actually mentioned when he was here in the game the last time that he really looks up to you because of your clutch G. Now it's your time. Chris, what can you say about Aaron Black and his improvement? Because he has been playing extremely well so far this season.
Yeah, actually, me and AB, we've been teammates since Ateneo. We did get to play together for a season, and you know, I've watched Aaron grow up as well from my time at Ateneo, and it's been pretty amazing to see his game mature and for him to become what he is today. You know, being a coach's son, I know there's a lot of pressure under that, and there's a lot of things that people may say, but he does a really good job of keeping his head on straight and staying focused on what the game is truly about, and that's just performing. And you know, seeing AB grow into a point guard, and that's not necessarily his natural position, but you know, that just speaks of his IQ and how he thinks of the game. And of course, you got to credit some of that to Coach Norman as well for him showing him the game in that way. Their playing styles are much different. You know, AB is definitely not Coach Norman. Coach Norman is definitely not AB. So for them to be able to work through that, it shows a lot about their relationship with one another. And with AB, I see a lot of potential in him. And, you know, he's going to be a great leader someday. And I hope that there's a lot of things that he can take from me that I try to show him day in and day out through practice, that he'll be able to show his rookies and those people that are coming in after him. I hope that we can get a championship together, and I think we're both very, very competitive guys, and I think that's the one thing that we both understand about each other. So, yeah, it's great to have him as a teammate, and of course, it's going to be exciting to be able to get that first championship.
I know Aaron's here, so kung andito ka, Aaron, ayan, yan yung mga sinasabi ni Chris about you.
And they're getting closer and closer to winning that championship,
Exactly.
and we'll be waiting for that time, Chris. Now, aside from AB, who else do you think should fans watch out for from the Meralco Bolts?
Yeah, definitely you got to look out for Elaine Malixi. He's capable of catching fire really quick. He's on microwave, and once he gets going, he can really put points up in a hurry. So Elaine is definitely one of those guys. Bong Quinto, he's one of the guys that come off the bench, coming from Latran, and he has championship experience, and I'm seeing him mature into his game as well. We drafted Bong about 4 years ago, and from where he started as a rookie to where he is now, I've seen a big improvement in this game. So those two guys, I would say, will be the X factors for us this year.
And exactly, talking about Aline Maliksi, you dropped 22 points in that win that you had versus Converge. But I guess from that off-season, coming from that painful loss versus Ginebra, coming into this season much hungrier for that first championship, what did you really focus on in the off-season working on for this Philippine Cup?
For us, it's going to come down to hitting shots. Whenever the game is such a fast pace and of course your emotions are high in a final series, you know, a lot of times you're not going to get some of those calls that you normally would get. So it really comes down to hitting shots. If you can hit some of those open shots, it's going to change the game, and the refs can't really do anything about that. So staying focused and staying disciplined with your game plan as well as hitting shots is going to be a big thing, and that's something that we're really focusing on this year.
Yeah, and how do you like your chances coming into this season? I mean, you came from a conference with an import, but this time it's an all-Filipino lineup. How are you looking forward to this season? You already have racked up a couple of wins. How are you viewing the rest of the season for you guys?
Yeah, based off of previous seasons, all Filipino isn't our strength, but I think we've improved so much from the time that I came in as a rookie, from only having one win to now we're actually a contender for the semifinals, and we were actually very close to getting our first finals appearance in all Filipino. So our team is improving, our chemistry is improving, and we're getting more and more experience. So now it's just about finally getting that breakthrough and getting to the finals, and hopefully we can get that championship in all Filipino. But of course, it's not going to be easy because there's a lot of great teams out there. You got reigning MVPs on the other side. Junmar's healthy and he's back. So it's definitely going to be a battle, but I think it's going to be exciting, and I think we're definitely capable of getting to the finals.
But, you know, very exciting times because, as you mentioned, you know, you guys are hungrier than ever right now to get that championship. Next game for you, Northport on Thursday. So good luck to you, Chris, and thank you so much for your time here in the game.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chris.
Now, after the break, we'll officially wrap up the 2022 NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Warriors. Is Jayson Tatum a major disappointment for Boston? Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
Welcome back to the game. The NBA Finals are over, but we are officially not done yet. Tonight, we wrap up the series between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. Joining us from the Meralco Bolts is Chris Newsome. Chris, I just have to ask you first, what is your NBA team?
Just to set the record straight.
My NBA team is the Denver Nuggets.
Right, okay.
I've been a Nuggets fan my whole life. Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony, those are like my two favorite players growing up. And it was the first NBA arena that I actually went to live. So
okay, so we're safe.
No bias.
We can talk smack. Okay, so our first question actually is for the Boston Celtics. Do you think Jayson Tatum, of course, played his first finals in the NBA? Do you think he has underperformed, or if people would say, is he a disappointment for the Boston Celtics this final series?
Disappointment is a very, very hard word. And that's a lot of pressure for someone's first finals appearance. So I would not say he has been a disappointment, but rather you have to look at everything that he had to do in order to get there. And in that case, in that light, I would say that he overachieved this year. Jayson Tatum had to go through how many future Hall of Famers in order to even get to the finals. So that alone is a big accomplishment. And so for that, you definitely got to give him his flowers for that. However, in his finals appearance, struggled a bit, but that's to be expected because you're one of the best players on the team, if not the best player on the team. And the whole game plan is geared to stopping you. So that being said, he's never felt that type of pressure before. He's never been through that. I feel like this was just a big stepping stone for him. It's a maturity year for him. And I think it's just going to make him hungrier to want to get back there. And now that he knows what it's like to get to that, he'll know how to adjust his game a lot more, how to keep his composure, and how to pick his spots. And I think next time you see him there, it could be a very, very different Jayson Tatum. So.
Right.
Exactly, because he's also still very young, only 24 years old. So a lot of years for maturity for Jayson Tatum. But let's go on to the flip side. Steph Curry, now a lot of people said that if he won the championship, if he got that finals MVP, which he did, it would cement his legacy to be really one of the greatest players in the NBA. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree. I don't think he needed the finals MVP in order for him to cement his legacy because he's already the greatest shooter in history of basketball. So I think that alone is already a cement in his legacy. But him locking up that finals MVP definitely allows him to put his name over some of the rest. And whenever you're talking about arguments of who are the greatest guards in the game, I think those finals MVPs actually give you that extra nudge, that little push for your argument. So I'm happy that he got it, and I'm happy that they got the championship because I think, on the contrary to Jayson Tatum, they have all the experience. They've been through it before, and they know how to get there. And Steph Curry has seen finals MVPs slip away out of his hands, and I think this was the perfect time for him to get it. And I'm just very happy for him and the organization for them to be able to go through what they had to go through the last few years, the criticism, the injuries, and still be able to come out on top. So Steph Curry, in my opinion, he's definitely he's in my top 5.
Great answer, because Steph Curry is my favorite player, just to put that out.
Not going to argue with that, not going to argue with that. Okay, how about KLAY Thompson coming back from his injury and Draymond Green coming back in the finals now with his own podcast? What can you say about these two guys?
They're great players, and you definitely cannot win this series without any one of them. So KLAY coming back, perfect timing. Unfortunate what he had to go through, but at the end of the day, I think it made him a stronger player. Mentally, it takes a lot to be able to get through those types of injuries and still bounce back and have the confidence that you had whenever you left. And I think Draymond is also a big part of that because he is a vocal leader. He's one that gives them the confidence. He'll give up his own shots. He'll sacrifice himself in order to get the other guys going. And I think without Draymond's sacrifice, the product of KLAY and Steph would not be as potent, if, just to say, because he trusts those guys. He trusts their percentages. And Draymond's one of the smartest players that I've seen play this game. So that's a big, big three. And it's crazy that they're still together and they're putting pieces around them and they're still getting the job done. So I think with the ability to shoot like that, that's not necessarily something like LeBron where, it's pure athleticism. An injury, if something like that caliber of an injury happens to LeBron, I don't know if he'll be able to bounce back and be the same athlete. Whereas KLAY and Steph, they're still going to be able to shoot pretty well. It takes a little more reps, and I think with that type of talent and that type of skill, you'll be able to last a long time in this league. So as long as that big three remains together, hey, they'll always have a chance at a championship.
Oh, okay. So shots fired there. I was actually about to ask you that question. So
Sure.
that's, last but not the least, for the flip side, for the Boston Celtics, do you think that they will win the NBA championship in the coming years?
They'll definitely have a shot, but the East is starting to stack up their lineups as well. Like I said, you had to go through KD, you had to go through Giannis, defending champs, and a very, very tough Miami Heat, who's always the dark horse, and everyone kind of counts them out until the playoffs come around. So it's not going to be an easy road, but I do think they can get there. A few tweaks here and there with their lineup, and I think they'll definitely have a shot. And you just kind of got to have a little bit of luck on your side as well. Matchups is a big thing whenever it comes to winning an NBA Finals. So as long as the matchup's right, they'll definitely have a chance.
I thought you were going to say Denver, actually.
Denver, I mean, they have a really good lineup as well. Two-time MVP and Jokic. But of course, they are a smaller market team. It's a little bit harder to get people there.
That's
and
right.
Based on how the West is playing, they have shooters. So what I saw in the Nuggets series is they're picking on the bigs. They're trying to force Jokic to come out and guard.
But you know, I wish we had so much more time to talk about the Denver Nuggets, but you have to come back to talk about the Denver Nuggets, you know, favorite of Chris Newsome. But excited to look forward to more championships for the Warriors and maybe one more championship for the Boston Celtics in the coming years. Thank you so much, Chris Newsome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us. I'm Dip Dipianco.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Bea Diaz Fabros, and this has been The Game.